friends, welcome to Whirlwind Family Farm, and today we're going to talk about the simplicity of having a backyard garden. How do I get the bed started? How do I use it each year? How do I get it going? First of all, you may start off in your backyard where there's grass, there's weeds. So to get that first time where you have a bed that looks like this, where there's not weeds, and you've got compost down, the very first time you may have to use a rotiller, or in the case of this garden, we went out and actually manually hoed all the weeds away and cleared it. It took us a couple of months. You can also put down a tarp, leave it there early spring to kill those weeds out, then hoe it up. There's another method where you take cardboard that doesn't have any dyes or anything, just cardboard that doesn't have anything more than just black ink on it. Put that down and then exactly where your garden's going to be, and then put about 2 to 3 inches of compost on top. And yes, the plants can grow into that cardboard as it starts to break down and become mulch itself. So there's the way to get that grass. In our case, we came out here and literally hoed all the weeds up. But that's where the simplicity becomes after that. Once you've got that area set off, you want to go with a no-till method. That's what we have done out here. And the beauty of no-till is you never have to have that rotiller or any kind of plow ever again. And when you use no-till, or as they say in Great Britain, no-dig, however it's called, you're disturbing the soil as little as possible. And the reason we do that is there's microorganisms in there that if we flip them over and use a plow or a rotiller, it flips that first 2 to 3 inches of soil, dries it out, kills those microorganisms which feed the plants. So that's why we have beds out here that have not been plowed ever. They were cleared by using a hoe. You can use that rotiller the first time to clear that out, or again, put a tarp down to cut the sun off to kill it. But after that, we go in, if the soil is compacted, we'll use a broad fork. We're about to show you the 2 tools to use for that. Come back, we put compost maybe once to twice a year. That is the fuel. You want to use a compost that is organic, and whoever your supplier, wherever you buy your compost, to make sure that it is organic certified. So let's take a look at those 2 tools. And again, once you get your grass and weeds cleared, then each season it becomes a simple process with no-till. So let's take a look at those 2 broad forks and how we use them. 2 tools we're going to look at depending on the size of soil that you're going to loosen up. And before I show you these tools, let me emphasize one thing. If you already have a soil that is loose, you can get your finger down into it easily. There's 2 to 3 inches of very loose. You've got compost there, and the soil does not need to be broken up. It's a sandy loam. Then you possibly may not need to use your broad fork or a fork to loosen that up. That's a judgment call. If those plants go in simply, it already has a nice, loamy, soft feel. Don't use a broad fork. Out here, in some cases, we have a little bit of a clay mix, and this soil can get compacted, so we just want to go in and loosen it up. But quickly, 2 tools that we use here at Whirlwind Family Farm. This tool, if it's a small space, just a little flat pitchfork that you can press in, take into the soil, and lean back and just crack that soil. So if you're doing just a small space, that's really all you need. Here on Whirlwind Family Farm, we have 50-foot beds, 30-inch wide, and it certainly takes a tool a little larger, and so we use the broad fork. And again, I want to emphasize, we are not flipping the soil over. We're merely just cracking that soil. And the broad fork is a very simple tool to use. It has the forks. Take your weight, press in, and once we're pressed in, we're leaning back and just cracking that surface, just getting it loosened up. That's all we're doing. And after we do this process, we're going to go back and put our compost down. But this is just to get the soil loose and not flipped over and not dried out. So there's 2 simple tools that can be used that we use here on Whirlwind Family Farm. Now, let's give you a quick demonstration of how that's done on these 50-foot beds. Okay, now that we've got it broad forked, you had a chance to see that in time lapse. It only took, in reality, a little over 5 minutes. So simple, easy to do without flipping that soil over and drying it out. A quick note on the broad fork, if that's something you look to purchase, they can be fairly expensive, but you can get these in different lengths. This one's a little over 20 inches. This has the blade forks, which we use out here. I've heard arguments for those broad forks that are round. Some people like those better. Certainly, I haven't noticed a difference between a round or a blade fork. I'm just trying to loosen the soil. There could be an argument made for using round tines for harvesting, if you're harvesting potatoes with using the broad fork or carrots. So there's a broad fork. Several different hardware stores sell these. You can buy them online. I believe this one came from Amazon. So just want to let you know that. Now let's move on to getting our compost down and getting that bed prepped. Okay, now you've seen the entire process. You saw me put down compost, you saw me broad fork. It's a simple process. It did not take more than 30 minutes. And I always like to point out, you didn't see me once get something that required gasoline or plugging in to do this. There was no rotiller, there was no blade that went up and down with a garden tractor. It was done simply. This is a 50-foot bed, 30 inches wide, so it's a pretty big bed. That would take a lot of time. It would have taken a lot more time had I used something that I had to go start up, put gas in, get out here, get it prepared, maybe put the right blade on. It could have eaten up an extra hour or more. But that's the beauty of no-till, is we're coming in, loosening it if we need to. Sometimes these beds, if they've been here for a long time, they do not require broad forking. Just adding more compost, and simply that's it. That's the beauty of no-till. Good compost is the key. Wherever you buy your compost, make sure it is organic certified so you know you're getting something safe and it's going to work well for your vegetables. Putting a garden in your backyard is something that should be fun, simple, doesn't take a lot of time, and provides a lot of nutrition for your family. So this summer, like I did several years ago, I didn't know where to start, what to do. Don't make it complicated. Find the compost. Make sure the soil is loosed. Find your spot. Go ahead, prep that bed just as you saw me do. I'll come in. I have drip lines out here. I'll be attaching those soon. Tomorrow or the next day, I'll be planting into this bed, and that's it. Guys, it's not complicated. Thanks for checking in with Whirlwind Family Farm. We hope that you always get something useful for your backyard garden. If you're a market gardener and you've got other ideas, be sure to put them in the comment section. We don't all have the answers. We're just learning each day. If you've been doing this 50 years, or if you've been doing this a year, we all have something we can learn each time we do this. So thanks again. It helps the channel. Please like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. We've got a lot more content coming your way. Thanks from Whirlwind Family Farm.